I
Mm,
always have a backup plan.
all right, so they're all dead. Did that was weird. That's sparking, blinding dark shadows. Okay.
Keep your wits about you.
Need barking that in here. What does this do? Activate the emergency bridge lowering system. Haha. Get laud.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Smashed you fuckers with a train. Alright, let's just cross the other side. And down here for us to use. Now it does the breakers, buttons, handle switches, and other control mechanisms. View the log. Here's to the local data trip that contains selections of either previous operators or the machine speed itself. Using your ad sets, you study the archive stored in the calculator. Reviews the supply protocol. First glance letters with typical shipping reports, but after further readings, it becomes apparent that the focus of this is not ore or assembly parts, but augments extracted from living Tet priests and spent mass, the flesh of the victims killed either during or for the sake of the machine ritual. Review the production protocol. The log looks damaged, the lines are uneven, and some of the values seem impossible. After a few minutes of studying the records, you feel your head begin to swim. The stored data can only be comprehended by a twisted mind touched by chaos corruption. Review the Ascension Protocol. The record looks like a sermon of some mad chaos whisper. The lodge, clearly written with someone else's words, mentions the heart that excludes virtue and the cradle that rots the child of truth. Anything good?
We should deal with this.
Disarm that, please.
I better myself through my service.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Attention to detail is the key to success.
Ooh. Need to raise your demolition skill.
Nothing escapes my sight. Duty prevails.
I see it.
Right there. Never doubt me.
Disarm that one.
I better myself through my service.
Alright. So we cleared all the traps from there. Is this fucker still over here? He is not.
I always keep my options open.
Ah, just turn the light. System attempts to access codes. Votes indicates that the door has been unlocked. to the inside. Oh. Wait, that's probably not what a touchstone looked like in here. String this calculator shows a scrolling line of repeating Tetma lit you. Staring at the obscene symbols gives you a headache. Numerous wires and pipes run to the filthy cages, which are filled with what looks like a conglomeration of human bodies. You cannot make out who is in the cage, but bright blue sparking flashes emanate in the darkness while the mass of flesh twitches and shudders. Henrich casts a scrutinizing eye over one of the cages before withdrawing his weapon and approaching to examine what lies inside. Look at the cage closest to you. Through the metal bars, you see it truly is a pile of human bodies, or something that used to be. The monstrous deformed bodies have fused together in places, while others were severed using saws and knives, leaving wounds, seeping pus, and slime. Wounds that are adulating and sprouting tendons. Rods connected to the wires that run to a nearby cogitator bristle across the flesh. One of the human heads turns to you. Mercy. Even attempting to speak causes the mutant pain, but he bears the agony and forces the words, "Mercy, make it stop." Study the mutant closely. You examine the pulsing mass of flesh. The creature in the cage seems to be comprised of several bodies joined together. You see no structure or any other means of which the separate parts would have been connected. Among the layers of meat, you can discern large knots of muscle, various limbs, exposed bones, parts of faces, and entire heads. Only warp sorcery is capable of creating such an abomination while preserving its ability to live on. What is this? Henrich states in its surrounding and once again fixes the attention on the contents of the nearest cage. I'm beginning to have an idea. The Lex mechanic mentioned the inhabitants of the lower levels who had been imprisoned in their homes. He said some of them were brought here. The cultists did something to those poor people in their own homes, and now they are studying the results. They're people, monstrously mutilated, but still people. The Lex mechanic talked about some kind of slag waste disposal and chaos symbols on machines. What are the arch enemy's minions doing to the people on the lower levels? To know the workings of dark sorcery means allowing corruption into oneself. Henrich scowls. The warp are mutations, no doubt. These are warp mutations, no doubt. Perhaps there was some side effect, and that is why they were brought here, to be connected to the sensors and cogitators. Even fallen Tet priests who have rejected the Omnissiah are driven to the perverse hunger of knowledge. Why are they hooked up to cogitators? Henrich carefully studies the screens of the computing machines. Lingual tetanus corrupted by the scrap code. I'm sure it's unlikely he would be able to extract anything of value from the data trips. Thinking, Henrich clutches his fist and bites down on a knuckle, and then recoils when the mutant from the nearest cage reaches a hand out to him through the bars. You. A female face watches you from within the gloom of the cage. Even though half of her head has been turned into a mess of bones, Lupin droves. Her single eye looks at you with a surprising amount of intelligence. You promised us. Her words are echoed by other voices in the depths of the cage. Henrich leans forward in the cage, but at sufficient distance to ensure that the mutant cannot reach him. Who are you talking to? What did they promise you? Who are they? You took us from the inferno. You promised us a reward. Her face contorts in a grimace, and the creature's lips stick together like melted wax. I'll be damned. They can still speak. They remember the people who did this to them. Henrich balls his fist in powerless rage. Then he frowns in thought. Perhaps a little biomancy will allow us to draw the fragment of knowledge out of them, or it will trigger further changes. Not missing Pascal's sober interest in in proceed in proceedings, which he is dutifully recording in a data slate evidently about esteemed Majos. These are your comrades. If I may ask, do you feel any compassion for them, or the very least regret? Regret for the loss of those poor people were present to the Adeptus Mechanicus? Negative. What am I currently observing is not my tech comrades, but merely their biological functioning remains, fashioned into a specimen of the unnatural perversions of technology. I am under no directives to feel any affinity for such specimens. Cabell stares at the pile of fused flesh without blinking. I do not hear their names in the undying one's whispers. They have become too twisted and he no longer remembers them. They're only prolonging their suffering. If there's something that will make them talk, we must use it. Yes, it's possible another person would refuse to make such a choice, but we can use the situation to help the investigation. Change your mind is already made up. Henrich hesitates for a moment and then closes his eyes and raises a hand. You are enveloped by an otherworldly chill. The massive flesh in the cage suddenly rears up, the mutant retching up its glued together lips and begins wailing frantically. The shriek is echoed by a chorus of howls and the tortured moans coming from the neighboring cages. The mutant changes before your eyes. The tumors recede like an ebbing tide, revealing an emaciated female face, twisted in agony. The woman gasps for air, stretches her new mobile marionette and says, "Liar! You promised to kill me. You promised me deliverance. Every one of you. Everyone told me to have hope and the pain would go away. Accept the truth, for that is hope. My only hope is to be freed of this pain. Please make it so. Make it." A lump of flesh behind her head shudders and sends out smooth, fat tentacles that cover her wailing face and drag her into itself. You feel the pressure in your ears from the cage. From the cage, you hear a steady, almost imperceptible sound that fills you with despair and horror. With a sigh, Henrich lowers his hand and looks at what the creature within the cage has become. Oh, it's swelled. A wet gleaming mass of meat, gristle that no longer bears any hint of its human origins. It pulses vigorously, and that's it. The lamentations of dying people know not just that. What it said about hope sounds like a lie of chaos, which it used to take root in weak minds. I believe the corrupted tech priest repeated this phrase like an echo of what had been instilled in them. Whatever the cult of the Final Dawn is planning, false hope is a key component in their plan. It's a lead, a small one, but still a lead. That's that then. But do you know what, brothers? What bothers me, Road Trader? The number of people here. There are too few. The lower level of similar manufactorums are inhabited by millions. What happened to the rest of them? Henrich shakes his head. I know I won't like the answer. Let's go. We still haven't done what we came here to do.
This place is steeped in corruption, which means that it must be cleansed with fire down to the last crevice.
You're not wrong about that.
However different the canon we follow, here it converges into one. Let us go to fulfill it together as sisters.
This is just gonna be a boss chamber.
I always have a backup plan.
Data vault. Massive concentrated rows out of metal bolt heads like a grotesque tumor. A hollow roar sounds from deep within the metal housing. Whatever spurred the computer into action, it has enough power to supply a small command center. As soon as your eyes fall upon the Tidestater, you feel a tingling in your temples. Every nook, every component of this machine radiates a sense of rawness. One that is difficult to explain, but no less palpable for that. It is no less palpable for that. It is as though the construction itself defies the laws of physics and perspective. Hendricks makes a warning gesture, his voice ringing slightly with tension. It's threaded with disgust. Stop, Ignatius. This is a creation of the arch enemy. Don't go near it. You have done enough for me and my mission. Don't put yourself at risk now. As soon as Henry takes another step towards the Tidestater, it emits a deafening shriek like hundreds of metal needles driving into toughened glass. As though sensing the stranger wincing, Henrich approaches the control panel and bends down towards the screen. Despite the heat clogging the room, you feel the ice-cold breeze. Henrich is clearly using his Citra abilities to try and fend off the pernicious effect of the warp artifact. The omnisized race has not touched this object. This mechanism was not desecrated, but born flawed and unnatural. Iron most profane, Pascal unhurriedly produces a data slate. Initiated observation log. Let not fear stand in the path of knowledge. Approach the cogitator. Enters the two engrossed in examination of the control panel to stop you. You draw closer to the side section of the cogitator housing, which has several thick cables running from it. With each step towards the flickering screen, your feeling that the cogitator is watching you with rapid blinking eyes grows stronger and stronger. Up close, you see that besides buttons, switches, and togglers, the cogitator's casing is also carved with strange writing. Let's do it. One glance enough to tell you that these are chaos runes, within which lurks a grim threat to mind and soul. You hastily avert your eyes, trying to wipe the foul symbols from your mind. Study the screen. The cogitator display a wall of text on the screen. The string of symbols is a senseless mixture of numbers, formulas, and unfamiliar characteristics. There seems to be no logic to it, and yet there's no doubt that the cogitator is computing calculations on a prodigious scale. Look at the tables. A bundle of cables is coming from the broken side panel of the cogitator. They were clearly added after the machine came off the manufacturing production line. The wires snake along the floor and disappear inside a maintenance hatch and lead to somewhere down below. Take a step backwards and suddenly one of the cogitator strings changes color, becoming a brighter yellow. Your eyes are helplessly drawn to the Blias hue. You turn sharply away from the screen and you can almost feel the invisible shadows falling away. The realization comes a moment later. You were not fighting against your own curiosity, but against someone's malevolent will, which has now lost its hold on you. Keep your distance and wait. A minute passes, then another. You watch Hendricks examine the cogitator. His eyes scan the screens, his hands darting from the reel to the lever, sometimes hovering uncertainly over the net switch, which immediately receives a coating of frost. At some point, you hear his voice, almost a whisper, barely audible above the clanging roaring of machines. Sacrifice, more and more sacrifices every minute. Hendricks looks at you, his eyes darken, now appearing almost black in the black and white face. Hetatamba detonamus, the wound of this cursed machine is down on the lower levels. The auxiliary Enumator controls the system for delivering molten waste under the manufacturer's main building. The cogitator is fueled by the energy harnessed from thousands of people who are flowing beneath your feet as slag waste as we speak. But I cannot even imagine the reason for sacrificing all these people. It's inconceivable. Now we know why the fabricator sensor prized the monster so highly. The cursed Tet Priest and his associates create something that went beyond the limits of the omnisized power. The machine is designed to process myriad of possibilities using warp sorcery. It has almost finished the task. It predicts the future, Ignatius. How is that even possible? Do not attempt to gain any insight into the essence of the machine corruption of the arch enemy. At least now, if you value your soul. I've encountered the heretic metantal abomination before. To truly fathom their nature is to allow a particle of death into your heart. Henrich is silent for a few moments, but the fruit they bear, no matter how abhorrent their instruments, the fruit they bear could be useful. Henrich stares at you. Henrich stares stonily at the calculator. Yes, let's allow the machine to finish the calculation. I wish to know what precisely the Toad's minions were so desperate to see in the future. Perhaps if we're to increase the power, it would finish sooner. This decision is on your conscience, Henrich. Henrich vacates for the moment on his hands come to rest on the calculator switch. I will accelerate the process so that everything is over as soon as possible. Calculator string flashes, and the guttural roar in its depth turns into a frantic shriek that seems to contain the death cries of thousands. Henrich bends over the keys and flinches as if from an electric shot. His head snaps back unnaturally, and you see his lips moving. The calculator lets out a roar that grows louder by the second.
Challenges make the spoils that much sweeter.
It's just a shrieker. That's fine. I'd like you to start off back here a little bit. Abelard, you're okay right there. That's fine. Yeah, so I can't do that without hitting him.
As the
That.
Emperor commands, I act. Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it.
Good. I mean, it doesn't put on
Justice
burn,
for the
but
weak. I'll do it. For you, my Emperor.
it's fine. Good fucking crit. Oh, now it affects. Now it affects burning. All right.
For the throne's
That.
glory. I won't object to it. Let's see to it. But of course, Lord Captain.
Fuck in there.
I won't object to the Inquisition.
Hit him again.
Regards. For the throne's glory.
Good parry. Oh, that's not good.
Didn't flinch.
Set a trap there.
Yet iron knows no pain. Integrity factor increase.
Heal yourself. Buff everybody. Fucking god damn you. Him. Get up to here.
Who if
Enritz?
not me?
I won't object to it.
Alright, so you parried that.
Naturally.
Your already favorite
Let's
enemy.
see. Vengeance will be swift.
The shadows will see it done.
That had better not be
The
intentional.
wrong button. Kill it.
Is a blessing.
Jump to there. Very good.
Negligible.
I've faced worse than this.
Fucking charge his ass.
An exemplary strike.
Hit him again.
Careful now.
There we go.
I will do my duty.
Yep, thought so. Review up to there. Luckily, they should go down real fucking easy. He might be a bit of a bitch.
Is a reward.
The enemies of the Emperor will be
Good dodge.
As the Emperor...
Request a mandatory ocular augmentation.
Fuck.
I'll do it.
Violation of the firing pattern detected.
I know.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
You can't charge and hit him.
But of course, Lord Captain. I won't object to it.
Charge.
Naturally.
Beat the fuck out of that dude. Damn, he can parry. Radius team +2 resolve until the end of combat. Every additional stat to this effect. Nope, I don't feel like summoning some shit. Alright, Pascal. I'm going to need you. Mark this fucker as prey.
The scriptural prognosis. The Omnissiah knows all.
Expose weakness. Throw you down.
see
Nom
to
nom.
it personally. It's as good as
Nom
done.
nom. Okay, so he just dodged right to there.
I am your blade
Come to here.
and shield.
Very much like you, Dad. 16 stats of bleed.
Trust me. Caught by the web.
Mm. Shit.
Someone else can do this. A tactically sound approach.
And him.
I took care of this one. Indeed. Victory is imminent. At your beck and call.
There you go. Be a solid fucking wall.
Vital function successfully terminated.
God Emperor, move through me. Be the fire.
Good
in my
dodge.
heart. Doubt is for the weak.
Stop fucking shooting Pascal now.
As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it. As the Emperor commands, I act. Doubt is for the weak. None can escape the Emperor's judgment.
There we go. Boop.
For the throne's glory. Let's see to it.
Charge in.
I won't object to it.
Alright, got parried.
Activate calculated fury algorithm.
That's okay. Mark him as prey.
The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
Should have moved somewhere.
Running binaric override.
I don't know where it's on.
My vow is to serve.
Boop, 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 boop. First off, kill him. Then go to him.
I'll see to it personally.
Do it.
Lieutenant, killing brings me no pleasure.
Rest assured, I'll be marking this incident down.
Alright, there's those two.
Let the blood of the wicked be shed as thou hast willed. As honor ordained, come. The other side awaits.
Very good. Last one. Bop. Harris goes back to the broken down Codsayer, spends a little while examining the instrument panel, and then disconnects a component resembling a data crypt, which he quickly stows in his cartridge belt. That's what this machine was put into operation for, countless symbols and numbers containing knowledge of things to come. I hope my specialists will find a way to decipher the corrupt code. I hypothesize that my services will not be needed. Disappointment and resignation are clear in Pascal's voice. You are correct, Meadows. I am grateful for the help, but unfortunately I must conceal the fruits of our labor from you. Hemorrhage glances around the hall. As you have seen, my caution is well founded. Pascal's Vatsa felt a heavy static-laden sigh. Restriction recognition is valid. It didn't happen to you, Henrich. What happened when you touched the machine? Henrich jerks his head and waves away the question, his movements sharp and unnatural. We'll talk about it later, but right now. Henrich's eyes settle on you. I must thank you, Ignatius. Without your help and cooperation, I doubt I would have reached the depths of the TVA Gamma and learned the truth behind my agent's dispatches and reports. I would never have ended up here, and now I would never have succeeded in hampering the cult's activities. Dare I hope, esteemed interrogator, that your keen interest in the Von Valsius world has been satisfied. Oh, apart from the fact that the world is still seized by the arch enemy's corruption, its population is infested with heresy, and the once sacred machines of its manufactorum have been turned into weapons against humanity, quite satisfied, yes. My business on TV Damage concluded. It is time to return to the mission that brought you to the industrial world. The only thing I asked of you is an audience when we return to the ship. Henrich bows his head and signals the conversation is over.
Whisper and be heard.
Boop.
The Emperor sets my path. Be strong. Greater trials lie ahead.
My frail organics require this.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
There's no fucking loot in here? Ooh, the outside. That was a pretty easy fight, honestly. There's my boys.
Let us not dawdle.
Search the trash can. shit.
And me of pain won't stop me.
When the faithful are idle, heresy grows.
I'll make sure to return the favor one day.
Tech use 95. There's also this over here. Cyberguard is asking for access codes you do not have.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Guard the list for transporting parts.
Keep your wits about you.
Heretic trophies.
I cannot shake the feeling that the Proctor was given to us not to act as a bodyguard, but rather to serve as the arbitrator's inside agent.
Probably.
You should know, Master Interrogator. Better than anyone.
I always keep my options
Okay.
open.
Demonstrated altar. That's a train. 65% chance.
Useless. That was a problem for you.
Mixer structures and alter the Zinch. Alright.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Head up that way.
Easily done.
Vats which previously used to store fuel have been turned into reservoirs for blood.
Is there money to be made?
The tech priest tears himself away from reading the data slate and looks up at you. His respiratory augment is missing. Instead, the lower half of his face is covered in deathly pale artificial flesh. You take note of the multitude of fresh augments attached to his head. They seem to have been inserted haphazardly, and pus is seeping from the untreated wounds. I heard your footsteps in the void. You are Von Valsius, are you not? Pastel exchanges series banana signals with the Tet Priest before saying menacingly, initiating an arrest procedure. This unit is using a fabricated identification code, which constitutes a grade 4 transgression. Identify yourself. My name is Demet Haman. I believe it is familiar to you. This statement is false. The unit stands accused of identity theft. I am guilty of many things, but not the transgression you speak of. I have stolen nothing from you, my tech comrade, unlike many others who have indeed robbed you. Reference in regard you're telling your friend, comrade? Marcel switches to Technolingua. His vox erupts in a series of binary signals. There is no need for secrecy. Let him understand. The heretic nods in your direction with a smile. Following a voluntary surrender, I will be willing to commute a punishment from immediate destruction to arrest and isolation for the purpose of conducting an exhaustive interrogation. A wise decision. Request denied. Tech comrade, you will have to pull what I know out of my head.
Will beg for mercy, but I will grant none.
There's only 3 of them. I'm gonna set up down there. And go up over to here. Stell, Abelard, I'm gonna sit over here. Ooh, he is tanky. You are in range of that.
As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it.
You're going for him.
Death comes in silence. Trust me. My killing brings me no pleasure.
Alright. Now we are going to
The
do another
shadows
jump.
seek me. As honor ordains.
This,
Trust me.
this. Ah, shit.
I cannot serve you in this way.
Good dodge. Put her right in a perfect spot.
Let's see to it. But of course, Lord Captain.
Favorite enemy.
For the throne's glory.
Butcher has a high parry.
Naturally. Let's see to it. I won't object to it.
Here we go. Get on him.
I'll make it happen.
Not quite sure what I... Ah, so you're fucking stuck in between them, that's why. Oh, the fucking Minesweeper grenade. Duh. Nail him. I'd like to affect him if I can. Alright, get over here. Pray. Add stats of bleed.
Damage to bulk.
Get. Solid miss.
Tried and tested tactics are the
What?
best ones.
Kindly appreciate.
Will be done. At your beck and call.
You nailing this motherfucker.
Grey hair, sure hand. Victory is imminent. At At your beck and call.
You can't outparry the Abelard.
Rejoice in battle!
Up to there.
Faith without each strike is a prayer.
Kill him.
Doubt is for the weak. I'll do it.
Fuck it.
Power resides in the will of the righteous. As the Emperor commands, eradicated.
Alright, very good. He's dead.
Advancing.
11 to 15, 16 to 24.
Request approved.
I will leave footprints of scarlet. Caught by the web.
Don't think you can get bleed on this fucker.
As honor ordains. Trust me. As the tenets demand.
Alright. Get over to here. Breach of strength.
Let's see to it. For the throne's glory.
Not yet.
Oof.
Not by your hand.
Not what I meant to do.
Calculated risk is my second nature. I won't compromise my principles. Accept your lot.
Take another turn. I would like you to favorite enemy him.
Of course, Lord Captain.
Pop reckless strike. Okay, move up to here.
The Emperor is on our side. Let's see to it. Naturally.
One more. Haha.
Let's see to it. Your reckoning is due.
Festus stands motionless as he stares at the Heritat's corpse. After a long silence, he finally says in a hollow voice, I am taking his neurocogitator. The data contained within must be analyzed to supplement the catechism of maintenance and operation. A reasonable measure. This statement is true. A value of the data justifies the risk. Bastel leans over the corpse, activating the sampling tool, and one of the metadendrites plunges into the tangle of oddments covering the Heritat's skull. Ooh, better plasma. Plus 10 bonus to logic. that. It just became very deadly, my friend.
Let us not dawdle.
Each of the wares melee attacks made against enemies under the exposed weakness reduces the enemy's strength and agility by 10.
An expected result. Nothing's impossible for this old officer.
Keep your wits about you.
A lot of loot.
Operation successful.
Mm.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge. Not my worst day.
Hey,
Yet.
fucker.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
Ah, there you guys are.
There. That was a problem for you.
Oh no, but the problem was the
Always keep your
fucking
eye on the prize.
cutscene murdering 3 of my dudes. I mean, I don't have to take Henrik's anymore, but I'm still going to. He's useful. He fucking hurts people. My ranged combatant always fucking hits, so... Oh yeah, it's up here.
Unexpected result.
There.
Nothing's impossible for this old officer.
I always keep my options open.
what are you saving for? There's all the Heritet trophies.
Let us not dawdle.
Pay attention.
Oh. See why now.
The machine god grants me insight.
Bring your elective tattoo to the scanner. Several lumens light up on the panel. You hear the distinct clicks and the consider goes quiet, clearly having fulfilled its purpose.
What do we have here?
Transmitters have been obviously failed. It can now only be opened manually by finding a suitable... Ah, right there. I have 2 of them. We can skip that.
This is intriguing.
Disable the gas supply. Disable the traps. Request Theodore's data.
The Emperor favors me today.
Alright, let's try this. Peer to the darkness conceals the true path. Avert your eyes. Gas-based marine towers over the Tet priest, bowed heads like dark cliff. He recited his sermon, slowly almost chanting. The mere sound of his deep, low voice, you break into a cold sweat, and your gorge rises. Listen for my words. Reveal to you the path of darkness into the primordial truth, which has thrown open the gates for your wayward souls. Seek deliverance from the shroud that lies the torment of the enslavement. Your minds have shed the bonds of the dogma that has guided you into the abyss. Accept now that hope only granted to you by the greatest of the word bearers. Here on the soil of the Imperium world, I knew our meeting on Rytar Minoris would be the last, but we'd run into the anathema here. Kiva Jamma did not merely succumb to heresy. Ignatius, your world is in the clutches of the greatest evil known to the Imperium. Pastel gazes at his former brethren and whispers dryly, the new sphere signals of defective units has been archived in accordance with the sacred command. I will tolerate no heresy and hereby sentence you to categorical disposal without redemption. Death.
Your arrogance will be your downfall.
The Masters demand your death!
I'll set up there. Wish I could move you guys, but I did not.
I serve the ruinous powers.
I drew Argentus gonna go pretty early. Move to here. That's fine. Straight down the line.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
We stuck outside of cover, but
Doubt is for the weak. I'll do it.
pretty good momentum. All right, they're burning.
I'll put my
Love to hear.
psychic abilities to
You don't
use.
have to fucking keep enough for endure.
But of course, Lord Captain. Let's see to it. I won't object to it.
Nail him.
Now,
Endure. All right. I'll move before I can.
Chaos guides me.
Upend him. Sorry about this, boy.
Here's my perfect moment.
Can still hit all of you.
As the Emperor. Each strike is a prayer. None can escape the Emperor's judgment. Faith without deeds is worthless.
Reload.
As the Emperor eradicated.
All right, now run and gun to
Guiding
here.
faith. I'll do it.
I'll
Fucking
see
shoot
to
him.
it personally.
Gives us strength.
Fuck her.
Follow my lead.
Favorite enemy.
Indeed. I will do my duty.
All right.
For Von Valancius. Victory is imminent. At your beck and call. Indeed. At your beck and call.
Okay, that won't work on him.
My vow is to serve. The scriptural
Like him fucking dead.
No. As honor ordained, my blade whispers your name.
I should have hit with. Start with this first.
Trust me.
That.
I shall not let your soul be purged.
22 stats of bleeding. Good shit.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone!
Switch over to this.
As the Emperor commands, each strike is a prayer.
Alright.
I'll do it.
All the ads are down. And we just focus down to Space Marine, who's already almost
As
dead.
the Emperor commands, I act.
Alas, no.
Go to there.
For the throne's glory. I won't object to it. But of course, Lord Cap, nothing stands against me.
That's Whisper.
Let's
End
do
him.
it.
Almost. Is Servitor gonna do it? Servitor fucking killed him. It's a Heretic Bolter. Okay, that's not too bad.
I know how to take risks.
Need more base perception skill. Take more commerce. Carouse. Listed still. Mm. More tech use, please. Weapon still, please. Alright, we're gonna call it that for right